that when they know. But
Yeah, usually they owe us the dispatcher where they're at or signals they've passed. But
there's another man named George that comes here a lot. He's
yeah,
told
I was
us.
just talking to him. I think George Emmett.
I don't know his last name, but
Yeah,
he tells us a lot of what
probably George Emmett that I was just talking to.
has I think a red colored van, minivan.
No,
There's two little antennas sitting up.
he's got a black Ford Fusion, I think.
Oh,
He
this is
doesn't have a
different.
van. That might be, yeah. There's probably somebody else that's in the area that's. Oh yeah.
He usually hears on Friday.
You know, it's a darn shame that years ago, well, when I grew up out here, this was still a C&O, and occasionally, you know, you still saw Pure Marquette equipment, and there used to be 6 trains a day, passenger trains, between Detroit and Grand Rapids. There was several that went north-south between Detroit and Toledo. And then in 1963 or 4, well, 63, C&O, B&O merged. And then in 64, instead of the B&O trains going out of the Michigan Central Depot, then they'd come out of the Fort Street Union Depot down there in Detroit, and they'd come over this line too. So you'd see like the Cincinnatian, you'd see, you know, the different B&O trains. I think there was another one called the Ambassador or something that went south between here and Toledo and Cincinnati or east. And of course all that disappeared in 1971 when Amtrak took over. They kiboshed everything, took it all off. And we used to have a lot of freights through here, plus locals because the auto plant traffic. And in the 60s there was like an average of 48 trains a day. Passenger, freight, locals, extras, yeah. Switcher movements between like North Yard and East Yard down here. Or they switched that time back in the 60s. Western Electric was still out there on Sheldon Road. Occasionally they'd switch that plant. They'd go up to Wixom. Northville State Hospital still had a coal-fired boiler. And occasionally on the north-south line you'd see them take some cars out of the yard and go up there and switch them out, you know, loads for empties. All that's disappeared, and of course the roundhouse was torn down in '92, and I got acquainted with the afternoon foreman on that job, and I used to have the run of the place. He and I were both model railroaders, so he found that out, and you know, we got acquainted. He come on over here anytime you want. Otherwise the police always used to throw us out of there, railroad police.
Well, this boy, they want to keep going down there closer and closer, and I said, no, I don't want the police I don't want them to call the police and be embarrassed about it, and them come and run us off.
But you're fine here. Yeah. You can also go over there on Theodore Street
That's
for the north-south line.
If they get bored here.
Yep.
We've got a radio that picks up that chirping on that EODT or TD, what it is, EOTD. So if we hear it and we're not green here, we'll go over there, or vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how long these are going to take to come, but
we usually get ice cream in there. I don't like to stay if we're not going to get something. They kind of know who we are.
I don't know if that's what this is called anymore. Just Plymouth Depot, and not. It was Eats and Sweets or Treats and Sweets or something before. I don't know. I guess it's still the same owner, but.
I'm seeing on the history, something somebody put on the internet a day or two ago about history, and I think it's that corner over there was a boarding house. Or
yeah,
something.
Railroad Hotel used to be across Mill Street.
Was it that great?
Not that building, but yeah, there used to be a two-story or so hotel over there, brick building.
Right where that one is.
Yeah, right where that one is. But one time it caught fire. Yeah.
Yeah, they said a man beat a woman to death with a hammer
there. Yeah. Some guy murdered some gal there.
81 or something.
Yeah, you better tell your boys there, be careful crossing the tracks.
Is there one coming? Do you see it? Okay.
No. Yeah, that was a long time ago that happened, but
81, I believe it was. Anyway, I wasn't sure it was that building.
No, that's a brand new building that was put
No,
up
I
on
meant
that
that
lot. But
location.
yeah, it was
And
right there. It was
somebody
right there.
wrote and said now there's.
It, you know, I think the old hotel almost used to be a little closer to the tracks too than that. But the platform, you know, the platform extended down that way too across the street.
Well, I'm gonna
And
go back over here.
this of course was the freight house, which was over there.
Right now.
This right behind us here is the freight house that used to be over there where that restaurant building in this
Did
that's
they
close.
move it?
Oh yeah, some probably back in the 70s or 80s.
So this building was moved from there.
From there, and it had a long curved platform off the west end of it, and there was a siding that came in behind it and serviced it.
Okay, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I knew this.
I got pictures of it.
Something to do with the railroad. And
Yeah.
the man, I don't know who he is, but I talked to him here, said that these people said they were restoring this back like it used to be, moving the windows and everything. So anyway, so then they somebody built a restaurant there.
That used to be Station 885, and then Stella's took it over. It was called Stella's Trackside, and it's been closed for quite a while now. I don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of growth coming up around the side there and everything. I don't know if it is sold now or not, or what they're going to do with it. But
I'm going to move back over here, and I'll
yeah.
talk to you later.
All right. Be careful, boys. Yeah.
You know which train is coming first?
No, it's just one's probably a freight and the other is probably a local on this track.
Yeah.
The white light, the lunar white light on the signal means restricted speed. So he's not going to go any faster than like 15 miles an hour at the
What
most.
does yellow mean? 'Cause I thought yellow meant
That's,
slow speed.
well, that's medium approach, I believe. It just depends, you know, on the signals. Now, if you get a green on the upper one over there, then you got a train going through westbound to Grand Rapids.
It's usually going really fast.
Yeah, he moves through here. Well, he's usually, depending on how long he is, he's got to make a good run on the hill out there, because it's hilly, you know, after it leaves town here, and all the way out to South Lyon or a little beyond, it's you know, uphill. Not a steep grade, but they've also got to go through that S-curve there, the other side of Sheldon Road, under the freeway. And many years ago, I've seen, you know, we used to have the older four-axle power and whatnot. One time I saw a rail train stall. He was coming up from Toledo and making the Y here, so he couldn't make any speed. He got halfway out there and he stalled. He had to back down. They had to put power on the rear to help push it. And one other time we had I got it on movie film years ago. They had a pair of B&O GP40s going westbound. And he didn't have enough power for the tonnage he had. And same thing, he got halfway through that curve and then stalled. They had to back it down and bring another engine out of the roundhouse here and then put on the front, and then they were able to make it. But yeah. Yeah, you've also got a grade going north, you know, and that line going north from here is now Lake State Railway Company. CSX sold that off to them a few years ago. And mostly, though, they start south from Wixom, or up around Novi by Grand River. Sometimes they'll have a train parked there in a siding. And once they get a crew for it, they'll bring it south. But they have to have a CSX engine on the front because they don't have that new system for the signaling, that positive train control, which is what all this is. And north of here, it's still the old Pure Marquette automatic block signals, and you know. So yeah, they don't need them. They don't need them on their engines. Yeah, okay. I don't think we got anything coming yet, do we? Yeah, all together. hate shooting into the sun, but going right in, going around the circle.